I'll just take up the lead here and continue with Buddy Daddies. So this is one of the ones that had a lot of attention coming to it during the previews, I believe, and just in general in the
You mean
social media
Rush Hour
sphere.
3, 4? Is it 4? There's a 3, right?
Three, yeah, yeah. It's one of the rush hours. The blonde guy is Jackie Chan, and the other one is Chris Tucker. But
Don't you mean the other way around?
it could be both. I could see both timelines. But anyways, this
Which
is
one
Buddy
says the
Daddies.
N word?
Yeah,
That's a good
I
question.
remember
That's the
that 'cause
actual question.
I recently watched Rush Hour, and I was like, I forgot he said the N-word in this, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
Yeah, he does.
It's okay, though, he was surrounded by he
He
got
has
backing by
the
Chris Tucker.
N-word pass. Yeah. But anyways, this is Buddy Daddies anime original, I believe, done. So the original idea, they say it's a PA Works plus Nitro Plus collaboration, but what it
what a
really is,
collab.
yeah, it's just always the words that you want to hear.
Oh,
The people who
yeah.
made Iroduku, the people who made Iroduku on the
my
World in Colors,
God,
as
dude.
well as as well as what is it, Drakoi, the
Oh.
3D weird. You remember that fucking visual novel, right?
Yeah.
The one where like the mother like was this random general who had a tank or whatever it was. That was weird. Anyways, uh, it is not really a collaboration per se. It's between the two companies specifically. I mean, on they probably did it just to enhance the marketing, but it's really just the one writer, Shimokura Ryo from Nitro Plus, who also worked on Tokyo 27th Ward as the scriptwriter and I believe the general series composition person. And this is his sort of second general idea that he probably posited and so ended up working with most of PA Works. So PA Works is taking this idea that Shimokura made under their wing and also working pretty heavily they have a lot of subcontractors under their belt for this series. Most of the subcontractors are working on the 2D animation side, while PA Works is taking most of the work in the 3D on the 3D side. But uh, excuse me, a lot of help on the 2D side, most notably JC staff. And I think for the most part, the audio visuals work out pretty well. Most of the 3D stuff is pretty limited to some weapon scenes and mostly just vehicles at like far range and stuff like that, and some of the motorcycle stuff. So pretty decent, pretty standard stuff. Most of the blending is done pretty decently. Um, Direction is done by Asayoshi Yuki, I believe. Asayoshi Yuki, who is pretty much the main gun at PA Works now, the only person other than I want to say Shinohara Toshiya, working at PA Works on regular occasion. Yoshiyuki Yasai most recently did, I believe, The Day I Became God, which we did not give a very positive review on, but can't win them all, I guess. And he also did Charlotte, right? So
Oh.
so he doesn't have the Near does not give him the thumbs up.
I just see fucking psychic damage from you listing both of
He
those
did
series,
Charlotte.
dude.
He did Charlotte, and he did the day I became a god. The funny thing is, he keeps
Hang it
getting
up, bro.
work along
Just
with.
hang it up, dude.
Yeah, he just back it up now. He keeps getting these keyword collaborations as well as like the Nitro Plus collaborations. So he keeps getting like the visual novel studio collaborations, right? In general, but like it's just like, like we can have somebody else do it, right? But yeah, him and Shinohara Toshiya, I believe, are the main people who are sort of running or doing the main regular directions at PA Works now. I believe Shinohara Toshiya was the one who infamously did Iroduku the World in Colors and followed it up, barely saving the PA Work name by doing Akoto, which was slightly better.
Yeah.
But yeah, the days of Nishimura Junji, right, doing stuff like Two Tears, whatever, and as well as what is it, Ando Masahiro, who does a lot of action stuff, Kanan, Serious the Jaeger, as well as Hanasaku Iroha, which was also very great. and really, I think, made Okada Mari's story writing at that point shine a lot. But yeah, those names are Nishimura Junji and Ando Masahiro are no longer with us at PA Works. So these two are pretty much as good as you're going to get with Asai and Shinohara. So you have him, which Nier is already not pleased. He's already
Yeah.
going to close this series down.
A lot of
And yeah.
there's a lot of names that bode ill on this series, I think.
Yeah. And there's also the scriptwriter who's helping out, who is Kakihara Yuko, who did some Aikatsu stuff. She's done a lot of different genres, but recently she doesn't, I think, also have necessarily the best of records because she mainly worked on Digimon Tri. She did some of the later seasons of Chiaifru, which I think also was a little bit flatter than I want to say the first season. She did Iroduku as well. She helped with Iroduku, and she did Hits on the Slope, Sakamichi no Apollon, which I also didn't like. But yeah, most of the visual stuff, animation, character design side is pretty good though. Original character design for the anime original, surprisingly, was done by Katsumi Enami, who did illustrations for the original novel, the light novel Bakano, as well as Restaurant to Another World, which really fits the way you'll see it later. It really does. If you watch the series, it really does fit the series tone overall, and there's a lot of sort of bartending, like sort of inside building, right? Like they're at a bar or they're at a club or whatever, and it really the character design and the way that a lot of these like settings are done really does fit the tone of those places, the general theme overall. What is it? Most of the other sort of chief animation designers, again, the anime related character designer Soichiro Sako, as well as the art director Sukihiro Mio, they're both veterans of the industry with various genres under their belt. They and a lot of the other animation directors and the general 2D related staff, I think, are seem to be on loan from pretty solid studios and places like JC Staff, again, Studio Easter, some from A1 Pictures, so on. So pretty decent. Again, you kind of see a lot of this pan out in the audio visuals, which are pretty solid. There is one chief animation director in Sato Sanae who has a lot of years outside of the anime industry, but her sort of noted works in anime are a little bit more recent, not as many years, but she still does have a lot of notable work separate from any one studio. So she's not specifically tied to Asahi or wherever, but she did work on stuff like Heike Monogatari, Urusei Yatsura, so on. So all these very solid staff, I think. Again, it and does show up in the audio visuals. So uh, speaking, going on the summary real quick. So you have these professional assassins, Kazuki, so Kazuki Kurusu Kazuki, and Sore, or Kazuki and Rei. So Rei is the black-haired one, and Kazuki is the blonde-haired one. And they're professional assassins, and they're kind of living a very, I don't want to say callous, but sort of casual. It's just we're just living day to day, mouth to mouth, job to job, just like mouth to hand, kind of like, oh, we just get the contract, we get the money, and then we just live our lives. We bang the girls, whatever it is, and they're just living that life. But during one of their contracts and one of their tasks, they accidentally come across a small girl named Unasaka Miri. And she kind of accidentally stumbles on, and Kazuki, the blonde-haired one, decides to save her and take her home to where both of them live, because obviously she shouldn't be in the middle of all these fights and killings and stuff like that. And so the rest of the story, it turns out the girl is related to one of their not project, but one of their contracts, and the people related to one of their targets. And she has a mother, but the mother doesn't want her. So the two end up taking care of her, and both of them the rest of the story is kind of an episodic set of, I guess, has an episodic pacing, where they're taking care of Miri day in day out in various things, from school to feeding her to making sure that she doesn't get lost, or making sure that she's all happy and well fed and stuff like that. And that is sort of where the story stands right now. And obviously Kazuki and Rei both have both the assassination tasks slash contracts that they need to take on, as well as their own lore, right? So a lot of the lore that you see related, implied slash related to the two male main characters is that their fathers didn't treat them very well, or treated them very cruelly, in service of them becoming these sort of like no uh you know these very tough assassins that you see today, these I guess tough but hardy assassins that you see today, that are just able to just kind of get the job done. So that's sort of been the bulk of what the series is. And I think, so episode by episode, very quickly, I'm not going to describe it, I'm just going to kind of go through my feelings about it. I think episode 1 or 2 were okay setups for the rest of the series. If they were, even if they were slightly at a slower pacing, that made it kind of seem more like a standard setup. And what I mean by standard setup for this sort of series is that usually when I see stuff like this, I just imagine, oh, the girl comes in and then the girl is all cute, and as the two guys learn to deal with her uh uh as surrogate fathers, they learn to really become kinder people and more human people, and really learn what it means to have family and people close to them, and to what a father really means, blah blah blah, and all that, very standard vanilla setup, right? So I thought that was gonna be kind of it. And then episode 3, which I think was the best episode of the series so far, and probably will remain the best episode of the series going forward, booted to a much better level because they included a little bit more of Miri's background, including the mother that didn't want her, and they kind of had the series had this whole mulling over and this retrospection on what it means to perceive family in different contexts and from different perspectives, right? Which doesn't make it novel. Certainly, these sorts of families exist both in reality and in story, but it did certainly make it more unusual and organic, and gave viewers something to kind of chew on with regards to the family concept discussion within the series, as well as what does it mean? What is your How do your morals and how do your values align with the idea of obligation to family, again from different perspectives, which I think is much better than just saying, oh, family. What was that fucking what is it? The family meme, right? Who did it again?
Vin
Why do I
Diesel?
forget the actor's name? Yeah, Vin Diesel. The Vin Diesel movie where it's like with the family meme. It's not just like that, and it's not just about loyalty, compassion. No, you got to be kind to people, and it kind of mixed it in different perspectives, more layered, more nuanced discussion, which I did like. But even that, I think that episode ended pretty quickly with ultimately the standard vanilla resolution of no, we got to have the kind family or whatever it is. And it was a little bit disappointing for me, I think. And I would have liked more of a sort of suspending that discussion, mulling over that different perspectives, uh, over the idea of family, sort of outside of just the the backgrounds related to the two main characters, because the way that this series creates tension is pretty much only through one shtick. It's through creating is it's by creating these sort of periods within each episode where there are throwbacks to Kazuki and Rei, the two male MCs, past, where their fathers treated them not very well, treated them pretty cruelly, and contrasting that with the actions that they have to take now towards Miri, right? So that is the main contrast and the main way that the series, the writers create drama in this series. But honestly, that is not exciting to me. Like I can see that coming from about 7,000 miles away. It's not exciting. And I think what might have been more unique and exciting is discussing a little bit more of the different perspectives where not everybody is in the position to be nice, where not everybody is like, yeah, no matter what, family. Like I think that's a very just standard vanilla boring way to do things, which is pretty disappointing. Um I think the series does seem to struggle a little bit overall with more where exactly where it wants to go with the concepts it has with the family, with compassion, with how to interact with the people around you, and eh, in doing so because it wants to stand out while still using these concepts, but it's not really doing so. So it has a little bit of the assassin action and just them running around and doing gunfights and actually shooting people and being like, "Oh, we're gonna do this like action comedy as well," and just take these props and just use the pan to like help with the gunfight or run away when we're screwed or whatever it is. Like kind of similar to Rush Hour almost in that sense, doing the action comedy. It has the action, it has a bit of the comedy. I do like the comedy that it's related to the slice of life aspects a little bit more. That's definitely up my alley. Um, so it has a little bit of that. It has a bit of the sort of again the family discussion, a bit of the we have to really be compassionate to family, that sort of shtick. But all of that storytelling, especially in the way that it's proportioned out, especially in the way that it's all integrated together, is so far exactly in the middle of the pack as far as anime series are concerned, and it's not really that worth talking about. So it's kind of confusing to me that they have all of these things that should be good and should be good seeds or should be good opportunities to tell a story that stands above, but they fail to do so with really any specific part of it. They don't really stand out with the action part of it. They don't really stand out with the comedy part of it. They don't really stand out with the family slice of life, compassionate contrast with Kazuki and Ray's lore. Kind of, they don't stand out in that aspect of it. They don't stand out in any aspect of it, and even the pacing itself seems to be pretty standardized with what it seems like an episodic pacing. There's going to be tiny bits of character development between episodes from episode to episode. And it'll probably, how many episodes? Is this 12 episodes or 13 episodes? Yeah. So it'll probably flare out. So, episode starting from anywhere from, I want to say, episode 9 or 10 and continuing all the way through 13. Or maybe it'll even be episode 12 to 13. Who knows? But there will be this final, probably like mini arc, right? That'll happen where it'll build up into this climax regarding Kazuki and Rei's previous histories and how they were treated cruelly, and it'll involve maybe Miri getting kidnapped or something dramatic happening, and then they have to contrast them saving Miri or dealing with Miri or whatever with what they how they were treated before, right? And that sort of climax and tension will resolve into some happy ending. So again, I can see this coming from a couple of miles away, but which is just not impressive, I think. But I just really wish that they would just take one of these things and just push with it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just the slice of life, the family discussion. It could have been the comedy. It could have been the action. Just make one part of it really stand out. But really, none of it stands out, which is kind of frustrating. And I want to contrast this a little bit with Akiba Maid Wars, right? Which is another series that Akiba Maid War done by Soichi Masui, which was the previous series that PA Works did with the side games collaboration and stuff like that, right? Which I also didn't give the best of reviews to. I said it was like a cheesy B-rate uh, Saturday morning matinee kind of flick, right? But one thing I do have to give that series over something like Buddy Daddies is that Akiba Made War does stand out in how cheesy or how hard it tries to push some of these things, and how cheesy it kind of portrays some of its action and comedy and like kind of cheesy. Oh, we're gonna be these specific maids have these specific personalities, and they got into this surreal situation. And now they have to shoot and kill and talk their way out of it, scream and talk their way out of it. That sort of cheesiness sets Akiba Made War apart from the pack, but nothing that I've seen really in Buddy Daddies really sets it out from the pack. And again, I think it's a little bit unfortunate. And maybe, maybe yeah, Tokyo 24th Ward, I believe, near you did that one, right? And you weren't very impressed with that either.
24th Ward.
Tokyo
That
24th Ward.
sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure. I think I did cover this. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't very. Were you impressed by it?
No.
Yeah, I think this writer they're working with, Shimokura Vio from Nitro Plus, I think he needs to kind of maybe go back to the drawing board because a couple of strikes here, maybe one more strike, he's gonna be out. But I just haven't been very impressed with the general direction, storytelling, and how they're kind of proportioning things out so far, and how the developments are so far. But yeah. One last word on the voice actress side. Most of them have pretty good fits. All four of the main characters, I think, are pretty standard selections from the A-listers. Uchiyama Koki doing Reisua, the moody, gloomy kind of role. He does that well. Toyonaga Toshiyuki pulling up with Kazuki. Sorry, Toyonaga Toshiyuki, a veteran, again, done a bunch of roles and since forever, pulling up pretty well with Kazuki here, doing the energetic kind of role. Kyutaro Kugi, or Kugi Kyutaro, or Kyu-chan as Kazuki calls him, done by Morikawa Toshiyuki, and the kid, Munasaka Miri, done by Kino Hina. And Kino Hina has actually done, not only does she do a very good job of sort of the baby little kid role here, but she's actually done quite a decent number of younger childish voice acting recently, and she's done a very good job on pretty much all of them. She did, I think, what is it? Alice Ramos, the sword baby in Hataraku Mao-sama. She did who else was it? She did Hana's younger sister in Wataten, or Watashi ni Tenshi ga Maiorita, right? She did some other supporting roles. So in my opinion, she's really becoming the next quote unquote professional kindergartner role, voice actor role, after Kuno Misaki, who is infamous for doing a bunch of baby kindergarten roles such as Ichihara Nina and Cinderella, Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. So I think she's sort of becoming the next quote unquote professional kindergartner voice actress, but we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had
So,
for. Yep.
Spire, what
Yes.
what what comedy movie is this most relatable to?
Most relatable to?
Which
Honestly,
yeah.
it would be more the pacifier than it would be Rush Hour, because it's like the focus is
No,
not
it's not
really.
you're like what comedian does this series take most after?
It's
Is
so
this a
it's pretty vanilla. I wouldn't say this takes after any specific comedian
is it
because I
like a
think that
Ben
would be.
Stiller movie? Is this a Will Ferrell
Yeah,
movie?
yeah,
Is
yeah.
this a
I think
Rob
that's a
Schneider
good.
movie? Or is this or is this Big Daddy by Adam
Um,
Sandler?
I think it's actually much more like an Adam Sandler kind of thing.
So this is
It's
Big
very vanilla.
so
It's
this is
so
Big
vanilla.
Daddy. You remember Big Daddy?
I have not watched it. I know of it,
The
but I
one
have
where
not
Adam
watched it.
Sandler suddenly gets a kid and he teaches him bad things.
The only like
Isn't that
movies that
like
I could.
anger management or whatever?
No,
Yeah.
Big Daddy's the one where he's like a lawyer and like
Anger
some,
Management is Jack Nicholson.
yeah,
And,
Was it?
yeah, it was him and
yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
It's the
Oh,
funny
right,
Jack
right, right.
Nicholson
Okay,
face where
okay,
he's
okay, okay.
smiling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What? And despite what some people say, I like The Animal. It's a funny Rob Schneider movie.
But yeah, it's the humor in this series is pretty freaking vanilla. Some of the slice of life portions of it are kind of up my alley, but other than that, it's very cheesy. But yeah, anyways, that was pretty much all I had for Buddy Daddies anime original done by PA Works. Um, Original story and kind of
Who's your
composition was
favorite
written out
daddy?
by Shimoku Fuya.
Or,
In this
yeah,
anime,
and in Buddy
um,
Daddies, who's your favorite daddy?
probably Kazuki. The blonde guy is he essentially runs most of the story. Ray, the black haired dude, is more or less just the sidekick. But yeah, I
So like Men in Black kind of thing. Who's J and
almost
who's
yeah.
K? Man,
I am not sure.
this series sounds great. It's like my '90s comedy. I feel like it's all over again, or early 2000s.
Oh Jesus. But yeah, that's I'm it, it's hard for me to really recommend Buddy Daddies. It's like not a series that I would be like, this specifically is an anime that is worth watching. I don't like recommending anime just to fill time. I like actually recommending anime just so people can I view anime recommendations as something that is valuable enough for people to take time out of their day to actually watch the series. And if you're really there's like nothing else and you're just brain dead just watching a series, then sure, Buddy Daddies, but I would not recommend it to someone in my opinion. So that's
Wow,
obviously not the most glowing of
he
reviews, but
he hates Spire hates two men trying to raise a single child.
yeah,
What movie?
I just hate things that break up the atomic fam or the nuclear family, right? The nuclear family.
What's the movie with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger? Uh, Twins. He
Twins?
hates twins.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hate two men trying to create a happy family. That's what it's all
Oh,
about.
is that the one where which one's the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger gets pregnant? Is that also twins?
No, that's something else. I
It's
forget.
different.
That's a different movie.
Yeah.